These stand your ground laws often and frequently been used as an excuse, if not a cover, for people who are motivated by racism and racial profiling.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that.
Kamala Harris and Oprah hosted a virtual rally for the ladies. Majority of people who watched this rally were definitely women, but that did not stop Kamala Harris from delivering multiple word salads, going blank, and even having Oprah have to step in and save her on a couple of occasions. So what we're going to do is react to some viral clips. So let's start with the biggest thing on everyone's mind, cost of living.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
Yeah, the groceries that you are responsible for making expensive. Now, if you guys look at the face of the woman who asked her this question about cost of living, just look at her. She's like, yeah, I think I know where you're going. I don't think I do. Can you? Yeah. So as a politician with her many years, serving as a politician, she should know better than to start off the answer that way. Just say what it is. Why are you taking us on this long road? And you're just making yourself look bad when you do that, because she's not a person that can get away with it. Now, I stopped it short because we know where she's going with this. Okay. She's talking about price gouging again, which isn't a problem. I explained that already. Prices in the grocery store. The reason why they're high is because it costs fuel, it's costing these farms, it's costing transportation. Everything is much more expensive to deliver these groceries to that store. So the store has to what? Increase their prices. So again, she's giving people an empty problem that does not exist. Then of course, she's trying to follow it up with the child tax credit. We already talked about that. That's, again, it already exists. It's just about obviously expanding it, of course. But wait till you hear what she had to say about small business.
And so part of my plan is to give startup small businesses a $50,000 tax deduction to start up their small business. Right now it's $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So that's part of my plan.
That's a teeny tiny business.
That's a business in
teeny tiny business.
It's a concept of a business, right?
Yes.
You know where I'm going. That's right.
I don't know why that would be funny. I don't know if that's kind of like a subliminal dig at Trump concept of a business. I'm not too sure, but that doesn't look good if I'm an entrepreneur. And by the way, Oprah, very rich coming from her. She's a person who started her career off of pennies. And now she's saying, oh, $5,000 isn't enough. Listen, if you claim to be an entrepreneur, $5,000 is enough, okay? Because you got to start somewhere. It's about figuring it out as you go. You can have all the perfect plans. Matter of fact, you can start with a bunch of money. That does not mean you're going to be successful. In fact, more people are successful when they start with just $5,000 instead of starting with $5 million. But that's a whole nother video. Anyways, she keeps pushing this $50,000 tax deduction. Listen, as an entrepreneur, that sounds great. But that's not going to get the vote. That's not really moving the needle. Moving the needle, and I've been saying this, would be what we're going to do in my opportunity economy is we're going to put a grant together. This grant will give entrepreneurs $25,000 of startup funds, and they don't have to repay it back to the federal government. That would move the needle. But, tax deduction. Listen, what's funny is they're going to apply the tax deduction, but then they're going to raise the taxes at the same time. So, okay. Now, if you thought that didn't make any sense, wait till you hear what she had to say on immigration.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. My background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here, so I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect.
Okay, so we have to stop it here because everything she said was a lie. She values border security. If she values border security, why did she not do anything about it for the last 3.5 years? They only did something about it this year. Here's the thing that most Americans don't know for some reason. The president of the United States can shut down the border anytime that he or she wants with an executive order. That's exactly what Trump did. And what he would do is he was very extreme with some of his executive actions, and then it got challenged by the Supreme Court. That's how aggressive he was. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they have not been aggressive when it comes to the border. In fact, they've been more aggressive with leaving it open than closing it. It's only now this year that he issued executive orders because you can't have a wide open border while she's trying to run to be the next president of the United States. So, they're trying to clean up because, again, this is all a dog and pony show for these people, right? They only want to do their job, at the last minute or something like that for show. And the problem with her statement about what she did as Attorney General, she didn't really do anything to make sure the border was closed. She really didn't have anything to do with that when she was in California. That's a governor thing. So I don't know why she tries to use it as a talking point. It goes nowhere. Nobody really remembers what she says anyway. And she has no record to run on as far as immigration goes. So when you hear the rest of this answer, you're just like, oh, okay. And this is why she's using the fentanyl, because everybody can relate. But we know, lady, you were the vice president. You clearly where the borders are. You clearly were the person that went to the source of where majority of these migrants are coming from. So let's get this straight. You claim that you were put in charge to address the causes of the migration. So you go do that, and then what happens? Over 10 million people cross the border in a period of 2 years? Yeah, you failed, lady.
Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs, because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
Yeah, you see how Oprah had to step in there because she clearly wasn't answering the question. The fact of the matter is this: the border could have been shut down at any point of this administration. What they're doing is using the excuse that because they haven't done anything for the past 3.5 years, they want to blame Trump because that border bill wasn't passed. Well, listen, the border was fine. Then you guys broke it. And then at the last minute, you wanted to fix it. Republicans didn't want to go along with it. Now you want to blame Trump. It just doesn't make sense. Now, the other thing that doesn't make sense about what she said, and this is probably the most damning thing I heard during this time, was when they asked her to describe America. And if you're going to be commander-in-chief, you probably shouldn't answer the question this way. Watch.
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm almost speechless because I'm trying to figure out what she said. Listen, let's be as neutral as we possibly can about this reaction. Did anything that she say was wrong? No, I don't think she said anything wrong. I just don't think that she said anything that if I'm undecided, I'm like, okay, how does that actually help me though? Right. So that's where she falls short as a politician. That's why she fell short in 2019. And I believe she's going to fall short again unless something happens that we're not seeing. It's like 50% she starts off positive, but then you need to turn these platitudes into, but what's the plan of action now? Right? I always go back to it. Trump is the polar opposite. I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to drill. I'm going to stop the Russia and Ukraine war. Right? I mean, it's very like, this is what I'm going to do. Boom, 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 boom. And the only problem that people have with Trump is, well, they get blinded by the media's propaganda about him, and they forget that he says that all of the time. So he's clear on his policies, and he's put them up on social media repeatedly. But for her as a candidate, she fails in this department every single time. She can't ever tell you what she's going to do. So as an undecided voter, if that's you, the only thing that you can actually reference is what she said she was going to do in 2019, and also what has happened over the past 3.5 years, because action speaks louder than words. What do you think about this performance from her? Like, do you believe she answered any of the questions? I want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, but let me give you some of my takeaways here. Number one, it does not matter how many more famous people she tries to use. It does not mean she's going to win the election. If you recall Hillary Clinton and her campaign, same thing. The only difference is social media is much more profound today than it was back in 2016. But Hillary Clinton had a similar campaign. Get all the endorsements from Hollywood and celebrities and the entertainment industry. Outraise Donald Trump. I mean, it was reported that Hillary Clinton raised $1.6 billion when it was all said and done, and she still lost. So that's my opinion about this. Again, word salads, empty answers, platitudes, nothing of substance, nothing concrete. But what do you think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.